So the race against the rain begins as the clouds begin to build. So welcome back to the journey. I'm glad you could make it with us today. We got another project we're going to be working on. I need to get this little shed organized. So we're going to build a little rack. When we moved here, we brought a lot of the little, with a 27-gallon Costco, Home Depot, little black tubs with the yellow lids. We packed a lot of stuff in those. And so we have a whole bunch of them. But for me, as I put some of my tools and different things away, it's hard to kind of go through them, and you have to unpile them and try and find something. So we're going to try and solve that problem today, and we're going to put a rack together that these things will slide in. So hopefully we can be a little bit more organized. So if you walk in here, if I don't trip and fall over stuff, you can see that it's kind of a mess. And so my plan is to try and get this cleaned up. I've only got so much time to do this today, as we've got thunderstorms building, which were not in the forecast yesterday, but they are in the forecast today. They're having a lot of big bad storms up around Chicago today. And I think that's part of the system that's going to be affecting us a little bit. So I'm going to start working on trying to clean this out a little bit. We have the 2x4s and all that are in the back of my truck. So I'm going to try and set up a little workstation out here, and we're going to try and get stuff cut. So come along with me as I try and get this a little bit more cleaned up and organized so that I can find stuff that I need to get to. Well, hello. It's the next day. It got a little too warm yesterday, and we had a pretty good thunderstorm and rain last night. Everything seems to be wet around here. But I thought I'd go over exactly what I'm doing with some of these measurements and how I'm putting this together. And then we can, I've got one of the middle ones made. I need 2 more of those, and I need 1 more end made. And they're basically the same, except for the end ones only have the shelving 2x4s on one side as opposed to 2 sides. So let's take a look at this. So I'm not sure how well you can see this. These are both the same. And I put 2 together at the same time, and I made my measurements. So this is coming up from the bottom, and the first line I made is at 14 inches. I'm going to put a 2x4 on the bottom that'll go on the floor. You'll see that as we put it together, which will bring it up a little bit, but that helps create the stability in the rack. And then these next lines are going to be 17 inches apart. So I'm going to take a 2x4, and between the 2, I'm going to put this between them. The line will be at the top of the shelf. This is the top of the rack. This is the bottom. I left 2.5 inches at the top. Hopefully the top tub will be able to slide in there, and I'll still have enough on the top to hopefully put a shelf on top. Now my section that I have is a little over 6 feet tall, and basically if you wanted to put this in a garage or whatever, you would just add one more whatever 17-inch section, and you just raise it up as high as you want to for everything to work out. So let's put this together. Okay, I got my first ladder built. This is what they call them. And so what this will do, whoa, sorry about that. This will sit on the floor like this. And they're spaced so that the black shelves or the black bins, the lip of the lids will sit right up on top of these, and then they will slide in, and this will go up against the wall. So I've got to make a few more of these. I think I got 4 more to make. This will be an end wall, so this will go up against the wall here. See here? And then the first one will go in here. These that are in the middle will have a 2x4 on this side and this side, so a bin can sit here and here. So we're going to get working on that and get them put together, and then we'll put the whole thing together, and hopefully it'll be good. Okay, I've got my ladder in here. I got this mocked up. These are the little floor skids I was talking about. It's not screwed together yet. I just put it down here. And if you can see, I marked everything out where the next one goes on the front and the back and the top. And I did them all at the same time so that they should all be identical. So I'm going to go ahead and get this screwed down to the floor. And then we'll start putting the middle ladders together and try and get this thing put together. Okay, I got all of my little ladders made. So I did this kind of mock-up just to make sure I could get the right measurements and everything looked right before I actually attached everything. I made some bottom plates and some top plates, which you'll see in a second. They go on the floor and they'll go on the tops of the ladders to kind of tie them together to give them some rigidity, and then they will be attached to the exterior walls of the building as well. So hopefully this will all work out. Well, there you go. If you ever wanted to know what the California electrical grid looks like, there it is. And then we have the backup to the California electrical grid. There we go. At least we'll have power. Alright, I kind of got it together. I need to put a few more extra screws in it to keep it stable, but there are screws all over in it. And I got everything kind of spaced out. I have checked to make sure everything fits, and it does. Kind couple of things to remember. These are 2x4s. Unless you are able to get perfectly straight 2x4s, there's going to be some small discrepancies that you're going to have to kind of work through. All like on this top here, they all come in fine, except for that one. So it's off a little bit. It doesn't really change much. It just doesn't look as good. And that particular ladder over there, I ended up cutting a little short because the thought of putting the top board in came after I had put that together. So I'll have to fill that in and get those tied together as well. But let me get this place cleaned up a little bit. I'm in some very tight quarters here. I got all of my tubs outside. They've been rained on, so they're drying out. We'll get those in here, and then we can kind of take care of this mess that's in here and try and get it organized. So as I was putting all of this stuff together, I've decided to put some extra 2x4s on the bottom. That way I can put some of the heavier tubs on the bottom, and it will help support the bottom of the tub. The other thought I had is you could technically cut out some, I don't know, 1/4-inch plywood to put in the bottom of the tub inside it to help give it a little bit more strength, because the tub bottoms, though strong, they're still plastic. So just a couple of different ways to kind of help reinforce some of the heavier tubs that you might want to try. Alright, well, been working on this and fine-tuning it a little bit. I just wanted to go over some of the measurements, at least for mine. This one ended up being 70.5 inches tall. That includes a 2x4 across the bottom and this one across the top. The spacing on these is 22.25 inch on center. So that's what I have in between. Just let's measure this. In between about 20.5. And those are the measurements I came out with my tubs. Now obviously you could take this and you could use different size tubs or smaller tubs and do the same kind of thing, but you would have to figure out your different things. The other thing is you could probably make these supports with 2x2s. It really just depends on what you're kind of putting in here. Some of mine, especially the ones on the bottom, are pretty heavy. Some of them I don't have anything in yet. I'm still working on cleaning up the mess. But I think it's going to work out pretty good. And I'm happy with what it is. I mean, I had tubs in here, but they were all stacked up, and it seemed like the one I needed to get into was the one on the bottom. This way I can kind of just pull them out, kind of look and make sure. Obviously they will get labeled once I get everything settled as to what's going in what, for sure. But like I have a gardening tub, and I have an electrical supply tub, and I have drop cloths in one tub, and you know, just different things like that. I have extra tools that I don't want to get rid of. They're my backups. So I have some of those that are in there. So it just helps it's going to help get me organized. And I hope it can help you get organized. I mean, this would be a great setup for like Christmas supplies or, you know, holiday stuff. That kind of thing. If you're big into Christmas and stuff. To be able to look in each tub without having to rifle through each and every one of them trying to find the one thing that you're looking for. Anyway, this is it. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and we'll probably be doing more of these kinds of things in the future. One other little thing is I do plan on putting a piece of plywood up here, a thin piece of plywood or masonite up here. I do have a few things stored up there. Obviously this is inside a shed. I have limited height. You could probably go up one more tier if you wanted to with the tubs. It just gets a little harder to get to once you go up. And with my shed, I noticed that if you were putting in a garage, it would probably be a little bit easier, more precise. Obviously, this is a shed. It was brought here. It was built somewhere else. It was let off of a truck. It was leveled and stuff. And I have found that it's not exactly square and it's not exactly level. And since I built this in place, I was going off of that kind of those kinds of measurements. If you were in a garage where the floor is flat, hopefully your garage walls are straight. It would be a little bit easier as far as putting it together. But for me, right now, this works great and I'm happy with it. So I hope I see you again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me a comment. What do you think of this idea? And we'll see you on the next one.